Hey everybody, we are back at it again, and this time we've got some pennies. Hey everybody, this is James and you're watching my channel, CAD Roll Hunter. Thank you so much for joining me. That's right, we got 20 rolls of Canadian pennies. I can see a mix of some older stuff and maybe some newer shiny stuff. There's even some American pennies in there, which we could expect. This is exciting. Pennies are hard to come by. Of course, they haven't been circulating for almost 10 years in Canada, so it's hard to come by, but I was able to get some more from my bank. If you subscribe to my channel or have seen some of my videos, you'll know that we recently did a penny hunt where I found 2 wrapped rolls of BU 1967 Centennial of Confederation Rock Dove pennies. In that, incredibly, we found 25 doubled die varieties, which was just incredible. I'll put a link up to that in the top corner so that you can see that. And at least that gives us a sense of what we might be looking for. It doesn't look like we're going to get really fortunate this time and find 2 full rolls of BU 1967s. But if we find any, we'll certainly put them under the scope and we'll see if we can find something. But we'll also be looking for other varieties, rarities, maybe a 1985 pointed 5. Who knows? Of course, we'd like to see something that's a little bit older. So let's get into these rolls. Roll number 1, we found our first US penny. It's just a 1994 Philadelphia. I'm not going to film all of the US pennies. I expect we're probably going to get our fair share in here, or maybe more than our fair share. But I'll certainly bring you in if we find any Wheaties or anything interesting. Roll number 3, and we have a 1998 US penny. And one of the things we can check on this is to see if it has either the close AM or the wide AM on the back. So there's a variety you can look for here. I'll just throw it under the scope and we'll take a look, and you can see the A and the M are pretty much touching. So that's the close AM. That's the common version of the 98. The 99 and the 2000 also have this, but some of them were struck with the wide AM variety, and that's what you want to look for here. Same roll, our oldest of the hunt. I'm probably not going to hold on to this. It's a 1969. It's in brown condition. It's nothing terribly special. And but we're definitely looking to see if we can find anything older. So you never know what's in them rolls. Same roll, we got something a little bit older. We got a 1961 Lincoln Memorial penny. So it's not a wheat penny, but it's an older one for sure. Our oldest penny of the hunt. It's got lots of great detail, so it's in pretty good shape, and we'll keep looking. Same roll, just a few coins later, and we found a Laureate Portrait here, but you can see it's got all sorts of corrosion on it, so we'll just flip it over and see what it is. It's a 1964, so we'll add it to the board. Hopefully we'll find something a little older or maybe a little bit nicer. And just a couple back, we found another Laureate Portrait. This looks like it could be a little bit older, but we'll find out when we flip it over for sure. And it's actually just a 1963. We'll add that to the board. Roll number 4, I just laid it down and took the first coin off, and we can see we got another 1963 to add to our finds. Same roll, we've got a really brilliant looking 2011. I might pull some of these aside and see if I can put together some BU rolls. These 2011s wouldn't have had a lot of time to circulate before they would have come off of the market. So I'll stack them up. I'll look at them later and see if any of them are worth keeping. Roll number 5, and we found a pretty red-looking 1977. We'll just take a look at the obverse and see how it looks. It's got some spotting, but it's still in pretty brilliant shape for a 44-year-old coin. Same roll, just a few coins back, and we've got another 1963. Same roll, I've just pulled out a 2010, and in circulation, these were all made of zinc, but the mint did mint some of these for sets with steel. So I take my handy dandy magnet and I check every 2010 that I come across. I still haven't found the steel one, but they very well could have been broken up from sets and just be out there. So I'll keep checking. Roll number 7, and we have found us another 1960. I think that's a 1964. Put it up on here and see what's going on. Yeah, it was just, I couldn't see it with the light. Same roll this time. It's a 1959, our first 50s penny. Just a couple pennies back in the same roll. This one's still got some mint luster on it. So we'll see what this one is. It's a 1962. Same roll, I got another 1963, and it's just interesting to note that I haven't found anything newer than the mid 80s in here. So no zinc or steel cents at all. It's all been copper. So there might be something else in this roll. We'll find out soon enough. In that roll, we've got a 1976, and I've showed this before on my channel, but in 1976, there's a version of these that had a slightly rotated die, and it's going to be hard for me to show that one-handed here. But essentially, this coin this one here has maybe a slight, maybe like a 10-degree rotation. I looked at it and verified it with my both hands. So I'll put it on the board as an interesting find. It might not be particularly valuable. There might be others that are more rotated, so we look out for that. And here we've got actually a pretty shiny looking 1977 that looks to be in pretty good shape as well. Roll number 8, and we got another Laureate Portrait here. This one is our first 1961. Roll number 9, and we found ourselves another Laureate Portrait. We'll see what this one is. It's another 64. Roll 10, and we got us another 1964. I just laid out roll number 11, and there's really nothing shiny here. A lot of copper. Hopefully there's something old. We haven't yet found, we're halfway through a King George VI, though that would be fantastic. So we'll see. We'll keep our fingers crossed. Well, we're in roll number 11, and we found something exciting and looks like it could be really old. We got ourselves a US wheat penny, and it is in really circulated condition, so I'm hoping that this is an early one. We'll see. And it's a 1950D, so it's not all that old, but it's certainly seen better years. Same roll, and we found another 1964. This is our 5th of the hunt. Same roll, and we found a 1985, and we want to check it for the pointed 5, which is a rare variety. You can usually tell just by looking at it, but just to be really certain, we can throw it under the scope here, and we can see very clearly that it has the blunt 5 variety. And so this isn't what we're looking for, but we'll keep on looking. Same roll, we got another 1963. It's brown, but it looks like it's got really great detail. We'll just take a quick peek here and see the obverse. And you can see lots of detail on the hair. So this coin's actually in pretty good condition. It's obviously been around for a long time, but it's not got a lot of circulation wear on it for sure. Roll number 12, and we found our second wheat cent of the hunt. And so it's reverse facing, and it is, a 1941. That's awesome. And right behind that, we got a pretty nice looking 1975 we'll add to our board as well. Same roll, and we found us a pretty nice looking 1980 with lots of mint luster still. And right behind that, we have another Laureate Portrait. So let's have a look and see what we've got here. It's another 64. And in the same roll, we've got a really nice looking 1969. We'll set that aside. We're going to keep any of these ones that look really brilliant. Roll number 15, we got a pretty shiny looking Laureate Portrait here. We're just going to see what this one is. And it's another 1964, but definitely the best of the hunt so far. We're into roll number 18, and I see her peeking out here beyond this copper Lincoln cent. We have, oh my goodness, a 1963, and then look right behind that is a beautiful 1964. That is in mint condition. That's fantastic. Let's just take a peek and see if we can see the obverse here. Oh, that's a wonderful example. Same roll, we got a pretty nice looking 1964. It's red-brown. It's definitely not fully red, but it's got excellent detail. Looks fantastic. Little bit of corrosion on the back, unfortunately. Roll number 19, we found another Laureate Portrait. This time it is a 1964. I'm bringing you in because in roll number 19, we found another 1979 with a doubled date, and you can see that 7 and 9 are heavily doubled along the bottom. There are varieties, of course, that also the other numbers might be doubled, but this is a pretty significant version of the double 7-9. Same roll, and we found ourselves a really nice looking 1972 here with a lot of red. We're on the last roll and pulling you in because we found a pretty nice 1981, except that it's got a little bit of rim damage at the top. Otherwise, it might be worth holding on to. And roll number 20 wasn't done with us yet. We got another 1963 Laureate Portrait. Just before we get to our wrap-up, I pulled up a couple of 1965s that I found. There are actually 4 different varieties of 1965. There is a small bead version and a large bead version, and I've got these sort of side to side. So you can definitely see these are the large beads and the small beads. When you're comparing the two, it's easy to see the difference. If you only have one, what you want to look at, the small bead, the A in Regina points between 2 small beads. On the large bead, the A points to a large bead. So that's the way you can tell. What we really want to see is it a pointed 5 or a blunt 5? And I'm just going to flip one of these up here, put it under the scope, and we'll take a look here. So not to be terribly confusing, you can see that this 5 has a bit of an angle, but this is definitely the blunt 5. It's not as acute. The pointed 5 is pretty much on a 45-degree angle. It's far more acute. It's very easy to notice. And the other one here we've got is also the blunt 5. Again, if this was the pointed 5, it would be on a more significant angle. So both of these are the common variety. Even in a mint state, they're just worth face value. What we really want to get is the variety 1, which is the small bead pointed 5. That's more rare, but the very valuable one we want to find is the large bead pointed 5. So that's what you want to be looking out for. All right, well, we have concluded the hunt, and I'll take you through the finds. We found a fair amount of US pennies. I've just kept the copper ones out here. But the 2 that were interesting, we got a 1961 and a 1964. I'll check against my collection. They've still got some mint luster. They're in really great shape. As for the Canadian stuff, we found a couple of minor varieties. We found this 1976 with a bit of a die rotation, and that 1979 that has the doubled 7 and 9, which is pretty neat. I set aside some pretty good examples with some mint luster. We got a 69, a 72, a 76, a couple 77s, a few 80s, and an 81 that still looked like in pretty decent shape. And the finds in terms of older pennies, we got a 1959 Laureate Portrait, a 61. We got a pretty nice looking 62. We got a stack of 63s. I think we got 5 of them. A whole bunch of 64s. Try to focus in on that, including this really nice looking one here. And I think maybe the finds of the day were a couple of wheat pennies. We found a 1941. That's the oldest penny of the hunt. And a 1950D in pretty trashy condition, but I'm not even sure if I have it in my collection. I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like. If you're not already subscribed to my channel, Cad Roll Hunter, please do that and click that notification icon so you can find out when I'm posting new videos. I'm posting new videos all the time. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you again soon.